Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice. Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss, a VO boss. Set yourself up with business owner strategies and success with your host, Ganguzza, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry. Rock your business like a boss. A VO boss.
Hey guys, before we get started on today's episode, we want to share some boss solutions. We have a brand new product in our boss shop called Book Out Build. I'm super excited about this concept. Gabby, tell us a little bit about this.
This is how I communicate with my clients every single month to make sure that I'm providing them with relevant information that they can actually use, and so that I'm not just, spamming them or sending them something really annoying, right? Because we all have to worry about that. And we're offering it to everyone now. And these are book out builds. So with a book out build, what you're able to do is set up a system whereby you can communicate with clients on a regular basis about the number one thing they want to know about you, your availability and book out dates in the studio.
Great stuff. And you can do this on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. What's really cool is that we incorporate your own list and we manage it and send out the marketing blasts on your behalf, all in your own brand.
You want to go to voboss.com, click on shop, and go check out the Book Out Build and Book Out Blast features.
Okay, now let's get on with today's episode. Welcome, everybody, to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ganguzza, along with my VO Boss bestie, Gabrielle Nistico. Hey, Gabby, how are you?
Hello, I'm fantastic. I have a question for you, though.
Oh?
Anne?
Yeah?
I'm really worried about this.
What, Gabby?
Am I too old to do voiceover?
Oh my goodness, Gabby. That's funny. You know what? That's actually a good question because I get asked that quite a bit.
I know. So do I. And I'm poking fun, but I'm doing it, we're doing it in a lighthearted way. I'm actually stunned by how often I get asked this. And I have people who come to me, in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Yes, I've even had a handful of students up into their 70s. And it's always the same thing. Am I too old? Am I too old to enter this market? Am I too old to start over? Am I too old for a new career?
What a good question.
So let's explore.
Well, personally, I don't think anyone's too old. I think that you have to really consider, though, the market and how much effort you want to put into the market and your career at whatever age you happen to be thinking about voiceover. I think that that's really important.
It is. I also think you have to temper expectations and be realistic, because your age could play a factor in the types of jobs that you're cast for or the types of things that you're suitable for.
Right.
But I mean, my thing on this, it's a personal perspective. So growing up, I was the kid with older parents. Much older. Sometimes people assumed that my folks were actually my grandparents. That has always kind of warped or twisted my sense of things like that, because my parents were so much older that I remember being in my 20s and like my friends were getting married and having kids, and I'd be like, oh my God, we're too young for that. What are you doing? Like, why in the world are you doing that right now? That's crazy. I got married much later in life myself as a result, and because I've always kind of had this thought process of like, we do have something of a luxury of time. Just 50 is not the end of anybody's world.
Oh,
I mean,
goodness,
come on.
no. I'm going to say one of the biggest issues, I think, with maybe some older voiceover students is their adoption of technology, if
Correct.
I can say that. You really, really have to understand technology, and you have to be kind of technologically adept in order to really flourish and succeed in this career. And I think that some people who are older may or may not be, as technologically adept as they could be. But I'm always suggesting, you need to go take a course,
right.
And make sure that you're really familiar with the internet and the computer, and you can attach files and you can edit audio files. And that is a big component.
Yeah, there's often a good bit of resistance from older generations to learn new technology. But there are so many resources. There are so many classes and courses available. And then, you know what? I have friends now, whose grandparents are like in their 80s and, they're on Facebook or they're using, social medias and email. And I think that's freaking wonderful. And if they can do it, so can anybody else.
I agree. And well, you know what? And here's the other thought. Well, if you're not that great at technology or you hate technology, and I would offer this advice to anybody, hire somebody to do it for you.
Yeah.
That can be a luxury.
There's always a smart, savvy workaround.
Yes.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the performance side of this.
Yes.
So, vocally speaking, I think this is a really critical thing for anyone who is questioning this. Am I too old for voiceover? Am I too old to do this? Here's really what it comes down to. You have to have someone, whether it be a coach, another voice actor, someone you can trust, assess your vocal situation for what I call your vocal age.
Yes.
Your vocal age and what's attached to your Social Security card are not necessarily the same thing and are not a match.
Yeah.
Chances are, and I don't know about you, Anne, this has been my experience, I find many women, most women for that matter, do not sound their age.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm one of them. I like to think that I'm one of them. That you have to be smart about who the market is because, for a lot of the genres for voiceover, you have to know that once you've gotten that vocal age assessment, who is that voice marketing to? Because typically advertisers or people that are going to hire you for that vocal age group have a particular target audience that they're selling to. And so that's where I think you're going to fit into the voiceover industry in those particular areas. So, for example, maybe if you sound older than maybe 60 or so, you're probably not going to be talking about diapers for your daughter unless it's your granddaughter, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for making sure that you're gravitating to age-appropriate copy, age-appropriate content. I mean, but we all go through that. Like, right? So when I got started in this industry, I was young enough that I could do some late teen stuff in early 20s, and I could pass for someone, in that age bracket. And I was able to do that successfully for almost 10 years. Now, no, I'm not going to be deluded enough to think that I'm going to legitimately pass as somebody who's college age.
Sure.
That's not going to happen.
Now I've been in this industry long enough to know that your voice actually, well, at least a lot of people that I know, and myself included, your voice does change. After a certain amount of years, I mean, it does, mine got lower. And I keep listening back to things that I did, 10 years ago, and I'm like, I don't sound like that anymore. And so that is something to be considered, to consider.
Oh, honey, I have documentation of my voice from as young as 15 all the way to now. And let me tell you, it's
amazing, right?
It's surreal. I listen back to myself from 20 years ago and I'm like, oh my God, please shut that off. Please don't ever let that play again. Because first of all, I sound like a completely different person. Then you bring my Long Island accent to the table and it's a whole other thing. But yeah, so, I mean, we all go through that. We will. We all go through that. It's commonplace. But yes, our voices change, they age, they mature, right?
Exactly.
But there are still plenty of roles, plenty of resources.
Oh my goodness,
it's
yes.
Simply a matter of understanding where you fit in. For men, I believe, and my God, I mean, come on. Look at an actor like Morgan Freeman. He didn't have his first breakout role, he was like 50.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, and now look at
Those are
him.
the storytellers, if I can just say that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I just had a lesson with one of my students who's, probably around my age. He has such a wonderful storytelling quality to it. There's wisdom built into that voice. There's warmth and there's comfort. And I'll tell you, I love listening to him.
The word wisdom, I love that you use that. To me, it's always like the sage advice from the family or the community elder. And who doesn't love that? And yes, it's so listenable. It's so long term. Now, note, that person is probably not going to see a high demand for their voice in, I don't know, radio imaging. Great example. Right. There's going to be no demand. But oh my goodness, narration, documentaries, storytelling, books, holy moseballs,
audiobooks,
tons of stuff. Yeah,
I'm always saying, I want to sit on your lap at the fireplace and have you tell me a story.
Okay.
Well, I don't really say that to my students, but I think about, that's the scenario when I'm thinking about.
Wow, that's a very vivid visual. I just want you to know.
When I'm trying to get people into the scene, I'm like, sit in that large, comfy chair by the fire and tell me that story.
With me on your lap.
Well,
yes.
I try to, I refrain from actually saying that. But sometimes if I have a student that I know well enough and we can laugh about it, I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know how you and Jerry fulfill your voiceover fantasies. Now I have a very clear understanding of how that works. Okay.
Just let me sit on your lap. Okay.
So all of these things are hugely important. And then the one piece that we haven't touched on is, of course, business acumen, right? And you and I are always talking about that because that's what we do. Mm-hmm. Anybody can be a boss at any age. And I think that for older folks,
I think they can be even more boss.
Sometimes they are.
Yeah.
Your experience in life and your resume, basically, and your experience on the job is going to dictate so much of your success in this.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a sales background, marketing background, if you've owned a company, if you have been in high-level management, all of those things are going to suit you wonderfully, and it's simply a matter of taking the skills you already possess and tweaking them and then applying them to voiceover.
Oh, yeah. I think that you have such a wonderful opportunity for success in voiceover because of that experience. And I say go for it. I mean, you're never too old.
No.
And like I said, if you've got the issues where perhaps maybe you're not as technologically advanced as your grandson or your granddaughter, then what the heck, you can hire them.
Right. I say recruit the little boogers and put them to work for you.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is this, however, this is my one negative. If you are looking to do this as a hobby or somewhat willy-nilly or on the side because you're going, I just think it would be fun to do. And, I'm really sort of enjoying my retirement and I do a lot of travel. And, you're not looking to really take the steps that are necessary to create a business, then no. Yeah. Voiceover is not for you. But I would say that to anybody at any age.
Oh, yeah.
That's not age indicative. I just feel like, enjoy your life if that's the case, if that's what you want to do. You're not going to be competitive at this with that attitude coming in.
Well, exactly. And if you're not in it full force, if you want this to be your retirement money, then I would be very careful about that because you're going to have to work kind of hard.
Yeah.
For that to fulfill retirement money. Hopefully you have retirement money already, and this would be a supplement to it. But you still have to come at it, I think, with a business-first attitude in order to really be successful.
And outside of that, the running joke in my family has always been the same. I don't care how old I am. I don't care what's physically wrong with me. Prop me up in my booth next to my microphone and I can still work. And I believe that. I will do this for as long as I possibly can. It's one of the beauties of this job that as we do get older and as we age, physical limitations that might hinder us in other careers, they will not hinder you here. We have a lot of individuals who thrive in voiceover who have varying disabilities, and they do quite well. Mm-hmm. And, chronic illness, whatever the case may be, you and I both know, I mean, from just a medical standpoint, we can absolutely still do this and work around those things. And so, age is but a number. It's all a matter of how you feel at heart and in your head.
Yeah, and you're never too old. Never too old.
I think the only handicap, if there is one in voiceover that I've seen that we face as we get older, is the dreaded mouth noise, right? It's the and all that stuff. And because it tends to get worse with age just because the muscles and the tissue in our mouths, it becomes more slack.
I've got a spray for that.
Exactly. Oh my God. Thank you. Hello.
I do have a spray for that. Yeah. Lots of stuff that can help.
What is your mouth? What's that one called specifically?
My vocal throat spray.
The vocal throat spray.
The vocal throat spray, which is available on VO Boss, by the way.
Yeah, and it's amazing for that. There are a handful of other products as well on the market. I like yours because we know what the heck's in it.
Yeah.
That's really the big push for me, because some of these other things are a little questionable.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Oh my God, super hydration, which, is good for you at any age, regardless. So there you go. But other than that, I can't think of any big downfall to being in this and being over the age of, 40.
Yeah. And the only physical limitations would be really, it's up, that really is just up to you based on roles. Mm-hmm. I would say if you're going to be in a video game and you're going to be, fighting a battle, possibly, that might be a little more difficult for you. But I actually doubt that.
I am always amazed by the things that voice actors are able to do and portray from a seated position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mesmerizing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
there you go. Bosses at any age, don't let it deter you. Go at it.
Go out there and be a boss. Thanks so much to our sponsor, IPDTL. You can find out more at ipdtl.com.
And for more things in the boss sphere, you can go to our website, voboss.com. Also, all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And please be sure to subscribe to us. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify. So many formats.
And I want to say thanks so much for you guys. We've kind of had a plea out there for you guys to go and rate us on iTunes. Thank you so much for those of you that have done that. And if you haven't done it, it's super simple. Simply go to our podcast on iTunes and go all the way down to the bottom where it says rate. Give us lots of stars and give us lots of love, and we love you. We'll love you right back.
Yeah. We love stars and we love you. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your hosts, Ann Ganguzza and Gabby Nistico. All rights reserved. Ann Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.
Hello and welcome. Money, 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 money. Can we do that without
Do you know how many cease and desist letters I've gotten in my life?
Oh, okay.
The worst case scenario is just that. They would cease and desist us. And then we go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then we take it down. I re-edit it and we repost it. It's like nothing.
Welcome, everybody, to the VO. I don't like that. Okay. Well, welcome.
Take 2.
Okay. Oh, I'm dry. Oh, it's so dry.
Don't be dry.
Oh, it's dry. My tongue is dry. Let me spray something just because.
Crusty.
It's crusty. Ew. My tongue is crusty. That's just gross.
Dry. Oh, gross.
It's just gross.
Crusty Ganguzza. La 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 la. We make the promos. La 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 la. Is you Mac or PCs? She not hear me. I sit all alone in little box and talk to myself. No one hears me.
I can hear myself, but I can't hear you. Let me do one quick thing. I just need one quick minute.
You have to pee, don't you?
Yeah, I do have to pee.
Okay.
It'll only take me a second.
All right.
That's fine. Go pee pee. We understand the need for the pee-pee breaks around here. Very important stuff.
Pee is important. Pee?
Yep.
Pee is important.
She's got a pee-pee. Little lady's got a pee-pee.
Pee is important.
I remember the days, when I had the bladder of a 12-year-old and I could hold it for a day and a half. Not anymore. Yeah.
Oh, now I'm all about peeing, though. I'm I gotta get rid of the toxins.
Yeah. It's not even that. I drink too much freaking water. I'm oh my God.
But that's good. You're flushing your system out.
Yeah. My kidneys are delightful. If you ever need one, you just let me know.
Lila.
Hi.
We're good. We're very big on urinary health around here. Very important things.
Yes.
Little higher.
Too low. A little bit higher. How about
a little higher?
now? A little bit now. A little
That's
bit more.
delightful.
A little bit higher now. A little bit
A
higher.
little bit higher now.
A little bit higher now. Okay.
I don't sing, bitches.
Bring it to you live. Shaka laka laka. Shaka Khan. Everybody Shaka Khan.
Whatever we got.
My lonely ass and me will be right back after this brief commercial interruption.
Yay!
Dehydrated eggs.